Hello, everyone. This is Meena Puri from Ayurvedic Healing Center, and here we are on our Friday Soul Talk Live. So today's topic, I wanted to talk about mental health or lack thereof. So it's really, I'm going to just go over my understanding of it and what are some of the things that need to happen so the mental health or the mental health issues are resolved for each individual. So, whenever we are experiencing something, whether it is on the physical plane or the mental level, emotional level, there is a reason for it. So, chances are, if you are experiencing something, it probably isn't the first time. So what happens is something comes up to surface for our evaluation, for our examination, and life comes in the way. We talk ourselves out of feeling what it is that we are feeling. We get on with life until the next time. So just to clarify on mental and emotional health, it's all in the same. It's really all in the same thing. Emotions are juicier thoughts. So when we continue to think the same thought, it turns into a feeling. Then it's a whole cycle that begins to cascade. And the truth is, this topic is so deep and so big, we can talk about it for years. But I wanted to make a few points. So number one, if it's coming on the surface, it is coming, number one, so you can take a deeper look and see why this continues to happen. So, my experience in my clinical practice is when people begin to feel something, it's the same old cycle. So, one client explains it's like the sun could be shining, the birds could be chirping, but I feel like somebody just put a black blanket over me. I can't see it, and I have no means of getting out of it. And then the client has a lot of courage, a lot of experience with this, so he talks himself out of it and begins to kind of do the life things, and the cycle goes down. Then he feels better again, and a few days go by and the same cycle begins again. So, and many of us know what it is that we may need to do, but the options are not so deeply available. We think about it on a mental level because we know it's something good for us, but we don't do it anyways. And one of the reasons that it continues to cycle because we have not addressed the issue at the root. So what's at the root? It's our subconscious. So our subconscious will hijack our better intentions. An example, we might, know I'm going to go for a walk every day. I know it's good for me, but we end up not going because the subconscious hijacks that better intention. So think of the subconscious as a garbage bin that is filled with all of our experiences that we have not metabolized. Those experiences in turn form our beliefs. The beliefs create a thought and an emotion, and we mistake the belief for the fact because we don't have anything else available. We are stuck in our experience because we have not metabolized that experience. So, one of the common subconscious belief that all humans have in common is I'm not good enough. It's born in almost. It's a culture that we were born into. It's also, it happens. This is how I understand it, that when we were born, we get separated from our creator, from our mother. And the ego says it's your fault because you have done it. You've done something wrong. That's why you got separated. So that's a formation of the ego. And we spend our entire lifetime figuring that out. Okay. And we spend our entire lifetime trying to be good enough. So there is a tendency to overdo. There's a tendency to overcompensate. There's a tendency to prove. On the other hand, we can go totally into the down circle where we're not good enough. We're never going to make it. What's the point? I'm not good enough. Who am I to be healthy and happy and active? Who am I? I'm not good enough. I'm not one of those people. So that's how the subconscious operates. And there is the reason we talk ourselves out of it because there's a sense of feeling overwhelmed. Overwhelmed, the experience of overwhelmed comes up when we don't know what to do. It's not necessarily that the situation is so overwhelming. We simply don't have the resources to handle what is overwhelming us. So we don't know what to do. And when we don't know what to do, we do nothing. When we don't understand it, we push it to the side. When we push it to the side, we talk with our mind and saying, no, this is good enough. No, this is okay. I will do this instead. I'll do it tomorrow. That kind of a stuff, right? So we never addressed the problem. And a few days go by, long behold, the same experience pops up to the surface. And we can be in this cycle, repeating the cycle for lifetime if we don't understand what to do with it. So again, to repeat, when something comes up, it's asking that we take a deeper look. It's really asking that we heal whatever it is that we are experiencing. And one thing that I want to assure you that if something comes up, it's because you are equipped to handle it. Nothing will show up on the surface if you're not able to handle it. So no problem. Problems are only as big because we have the resources to solve them. So now the solutions. There is what really, what happens is we start with something like, say counseling, talk therapy, which for the most of the time, it surfaces on the level of the mind. We can't solve mental issues on the level of the mind because that's where they came from. We need to go to a bigger place, a deeper place. So what needs to really happen is to heal the subconscious. That's where the spiritual counseling differs from your traditional counseling. So spiritual counseling, it's all the way to the spirit, from the physical, mental, emotional, energetic to the spirit. The experiences that we have not metabolized, even when we talk ourselves out of them, they have already registered in the body. The energies of it has already registered in the body. So the healing has to take place in the body. It has to be somatic. We have to go through many practices, somatic practices, to shift state to do the energetic healing and experience the healing, not understanding the healing. Understanding is a good first step, but to heal it, we have to go deeper. There's a difference between healing and health. There's a difference between spiritual counseling, holistic counseling. But I do want to warn you that sometimes this word holistic is overused, and not the promise of it is not necessarily delivered. So you have to be careful about what does holistic counseling mean. Um, Many don't know. That's not their training is not in healing all the way to the root level. I work with the psychologist because they don't have access to that information. Their training is simply not in that. And counseling is wonderful for many, many other things. But when we're continuously repeating the same old cycle, and I have many clients, they come to me, they're saying, I've been in counseling for 7 years. I'm sorry, that's a problem. If any kind of counseling does not begin to make a difference between 3 to 6 months, you need to switch the counselor. You should not be in counseling for 7 years until there's something for functional or cognitive, disabilities that we need the weekly protocol as to how to handle. There's a place for that. But I'm talking about the mental issues of anxiety. These are the clinical diagnosis: anxiety, depression. But I want to move beyond the diagnosis because they're just labels. Anxiety can come from a number of things: fear of the unseen, fear of the unknown, um, not knowing your place in the world, not thinking that something is going to come at me and I'm not going to know how to handle it. Um, Depression has its own characteristics, like you can be stuck in the same feeling for a long time. It becomes very physical, it's a real thing, but we have to go beyond the experience, the feeling of it. We have to get to the root of it. So body is the subconscious. Body is the terrain of the subconscious. In order for us to stop repeating the same old cycles, the healing must be through the body. The healing has to be somatic. It's not just to talk about it. We can't remain on the mental level when we are trying to heal mental challenges. And, one of the things is what it is. What is the reason that, we have access to a lot of information? Everybody knows. And simple example, exercising is really good for you. Go for a walk every day. Go move your body every day. Why is it that some people can listen to that and follow? Why? And some other people, they listen to it, they know what to do, but they won't do it. So there's a question you ask yourself. If you're struggling with the certain things, ask what it is that makes you stop listening to your own inner voice and your own inner knowing. What I've found is it's really the level of consciousness. So when we know something that's good for us and we follow it, the level of consciousness, what it provides is the interconnectedness of our choices, our actions, the consequences, the results, how we show up in our work, how we show up in our relationship, how do we show up for life. It provides not only a bigger and a wider perspective, but it really gives you depth. It's the depth that makes our experiences of any moment really powerful and full. On the other hand, when we know something is good for us and we're not going to do it, so there's that inner nagging that keeps on, it's because the level of consciousness, the availability for you to see the whole big picture and the depth of connectedness, it's not connecting. It's not connecting. So even so, that's why we end up not doing whatever it is that we know to do. So ask yourself that question: why do you continue to repeat the same old thing? Why? What makes you stop listening to your inner knowing and your inner voice? So when the consciousness is the cause, then I can't overemphasize to take a few minutes every day to reflect. Whether you do reflection exercise, whether you take an inventory of your day, whether you take an inventory of what's going on here, how are you feeling, how's your body's doing, whether you do some breathing exercises, whether you do a journal, whether you meditate, there has to be something that you create a foundation for yourself so you know where you're at. Okay. um, and healing is a very organic process. We are never quite done, but we keep becoming more and more of who we are. When we start the healing process, when we are worked with one layer, the next layer shows up because we have now become ready for it. We can handle it. So when you start the process, so instead of worrying about, oh my God, how long it's going to take, it's not about that, because at each time when you heal, you feel better. You feel better than you did before. Something else comes up. Now you have more resources to handle that. You handle it, you feel better than you did before. So nothing to worry about. So when you start the process, when you begin where you are, you're going to end up feeling better than you did before, um, beforehand. So what else? I just made some points because, like I said, we can talk about this topic for years. So this is such a, the times that we are living in, we've been, so many of the distractions have been removed from us. So the times are asking that we wake up. What do we wake up to? Wake up to what's going on with you. Are you in alignment with what you desire to do? How are you feeling? Is there something else that's asking for your attention? What are some of the things that you continue to push under the rug and pretend they will go away? I guarantee you, and it's a pain in the butt, that when you begin the process, even the tiniest thing, you cannot push it under the rug. It'll continue to surface. So, um, so it's really continue on with the work. If you have not, hence my book, Wake Up and Heal. It's available on Amazon. You can also get a digital copy on my website. Uh, read that book. There's a lot of information in there that's going to expand your mind beyond the limitations, beyond the diagnosis, beyond how we think about mental illness. It's really going to expand your perspective, and then you can begin the work. There's a very powerful tool that I've explained in that book, which is very useful. So take a look at that book. And I'd love to hear from you. How do you handle being overwhelmed? How do you know when to ask for help? So when do you ask for help? If you keep repeating the cycle and you keep thinking each time I'm going to do better because I know what to do, you may not know what to do. Remember, there's a gap between knowing what to do and actually doing it. That's the level of consciousness that I'm talking about. So knowing is not enough. We have to actually do it. That's where the most problem is. That's where you need help. That's where you need guidance. That's where you cannot see yourself through the forest. That's where you need somebody else, another perspective, somebody to guide you, somebody to support you. We only know what we know. We don't know everything. So we do need help. We do need to reach out. Um, so, how do you handle being overwhelmed? What are some of the things that you're struggling with? And that's a question to ask yourself. And when is it enough? When are you going to say enough? I need help. So reach out for help. I am, taking in new clients. I do spiritual counseling, healing, a lot of healing work, energetic, past lives. So we have to go through the body to go to the non-physical. So my specialty is the whole being, because I cannot just give you a diet choices when I have to go deep into why do you keep choosing the same things that you know they're not good for you. So there's the beliefs that come up. There's the unresolved trauma. There's a subconscious comes up. There's like, why am I experiencing this? Why me? Why not that person? Then we go into our life lessons. We go into the past lives. What is your journey like? What are you here to do? And can I show you a different path that may be much easier than you keep going on the same path and meeting with roadblock after roadblock and getting nowhere? Okay, so help is available for you. Reach out for help if you need to. And I would love to hear your thoughts and any comments. I read all of them. Thank you for joining in, whoever's watching, and have yourself a wonderful weekend. I will talk with you next Friday. Take care, everyone.